Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a worldview of Hindu, Buddhism, and Chinese philosophy. There are many differences and similarities between them. From my point of view, I categorize them into three main focus. The Chinese philosophy, which is mainly focused on society and real world, also the Charvaka philosophy, and the Jainism and Buddhism philosophy, which focus on self-liberation and abstract idea. In between lies Astika and Taoism. I believe geography have a big impact on mythology and later formation of cultures and philosophical ideas. Ancient Egypt, as an example, relationship more straightforward. People living in desert with Nile as the only water resources, so they created the Ra the sun god, most powerful, and Nile god, fertilization and afterlife god, Osiris, which they gave credit to the Nile River itself a lot, the desert god, the death god Seth, the jackal god, and he is related to evil and death. It's more complicated when we are looking at Hindu mythologies. Ancient India was full of jungle and rainforest. They were not that dependent on one river as ancient Egyptians did, because they have monsoon rains and lakes. Living in the jungle, their lives were full of change and danger. Natural disasters such as flood or forest fire can easily destroy their settlements. Above all, they don't have something solid, something real they can grab hold on, as the Nile to the ancient Egyptians. So they created more powerful gods and devoted them more to wishing gods can help the powerless man to get over with the disasters. Also, the dense forest, I believe, somehow stopped the tribes from interacting with each other often, so their beliefs were focused more on spiritual world instead of people. Their search for spiritual release have created a very complex and complete mythological system, and society was heavily based on those beliefs of karma and Veda gods. There are three main gods. Brahma, god of creation. He created everything, including soul of essence. Vishnu, the god of protection and preservation, protect the creation of Brahma, and sometimes came into human world in the form of man playing flute. Shiva, the destruction god, destroy everything with his dance of destruction, so that Brahma can create new things. Isn't it familiar to the concept of karma, which people born, people live, people die and reborn? However, when it comes to Chinese mythology, the story system wasn't completed until Taoists recollect and recreated mythological systems. The ancient mythological stories were more focused on people and the interaction of people rather than gods. Let's take an example. Nuwa, the snake goddess, who created human with mud. Clever and handsome people were carefully carved with her own hands. Dumb or bad-looking people were made of mud drops. Story about God, but mainly focus on man, is a primal explanation of differences between people. And later in Taoism, we have Jade Emperor, which is the Lord of Heaven and the Lord of Hell, Yan Wang. They govern people's life and death, and they communicate with the emperors by natural phenomena, such as the guidance of his ruling. So if someone see bad natural phenomena, like a tornado or forest fire, they may think there is something wrong the emperor did to anger the gods. So the emperor rather have to do something to comfort the gods and people, or they have to change a new emperor. We can see the Chinese mythological stories. They are talking about gods, but they are more focused on people and the interaction of people, or an explanation of people's wrong and right doings. By looking at the different mythological views of ancient Chinese and India, we can easily foresee the philosophical view of the two societies. They all have the shadows of their ancestors. Where differences rises from the ultimate goals of life. In India, philosophy is heavily based on the belief of karma. I also view karma as a restraint of people, so that they would think twice when doing something bad. And goal of philosophies was to get rid of karma and be free. You can also say become one with Brahma, which later became the collection of all gods. The Yoga school, led by Patanjali, think they can achieve this form of freedom by bodily practice, which Vedanta school focus on their unification with the ultimate Brahma with meditation. There are also many other schools of India claim they can achieve the enlightened state with their own ways of practice. However, in ancient Chinese philosophies, gods play a very minor part in them. Great sages want to find out true nature of human and find out a way to successfully govern people instead of gods. For example, Confucius focused on the importance of Rachel, and he believes people can have a better self and stop fighting with each other with the help of ritual practice, which Mozi believe in harsh laws, strict social hierarchies, and different teaching to each hierarchies. However, when they're talking about gods, they rather don't believe or don't care. However, and in my view, Buddhism is the middle way. It does not deny the importance of phenomenal world, and it also set its goal beyond earthly matters. It not only teaches people the importance of spiritual and enlightenment world, but also teach us how to live a good and meaningful life in this world now. With many approaches, the negative and positive approach, the Mahayana school and Hinayana school, Buddhism have the ability to convert many people with different cultural backgrounds, which I think is also the main reason Buddhism became a world religion. Above all, there are three outcasts, which focus neither on social structure nor spiritual well-beings. We have Charvaka and Yang Zhu's idea about hedonism, which they only focus on the joy of this life. They rather don't care about next life, or they don't believe it because they can't prove it. It's interesting to see how hedonism can grow in both India and China with very different belief systems, and also Taoism, which are interpreted as escapism. They encourage people to abandon everything and live a hidden life. Overall, the different philosophical ideas and their different all have their different focuses, which I draw this chart to make everything clearer. Reality is focused on the real world, society, or personal joys. Spiritual is a focus on gods and worships. Hindu social structures was based on spiritual practice, but it also helped to govern people. In reality, their ultimate goal is to get enlightenment. With Taoism, they don't focus on society, nor do they care about karma or enlightenment. They focus on their own belief system, which become eternal with the practice of meditation and other weird stuffs. When it comes to Buddhism and Jainism, their main goals and their practice were mainly focused on spiritual world and the release from the physical world. They were built on the high ground of Hindu spiritual worlds. However, we can also find examples of regions and countries use Buddhism to rule, such as Tibet and Bhutan. So Buddhism stretched all the way to real world and to the world beyond. 1,000 people have 1,000 Shakespeare. The philosophies above can be categorized differently by different people and different understandings. They're just a boat, a tool to help us find our own truth, and I wish that will help all of us find our enlightenment. Thank you.